Hello class and welcome to chapter 5, lesson 2, absolute value. It's going to be pretty easy. Just like we mentioned in the last one, the distance from a number to 0 is called its absolute value. So Lila, how many bunny hops did I have to make to get to positive 4? 4 bunny hops. Pearson, how many bunny hops did I have to do to get to negative 2?
2.
Yeah, 2 bunny hops. We don't have negative bunny hops. Bunnies can't hop negative, even if they hop backwards. Distance is always positive. Just like with a car, if you run the wheels in reverse, the miles don't come off of the odometer. So opposite numbers, just like we mentioned, are numbers that are the same distance from 0, such as 2 and negative 2, negative 8 and 8, negative 73 and 73, 8675309, and negative 8675309. Because Jenny, I got your number. Let's see. I'm going to call on random people. Dolan, what's the opposite to negative 5 then? What's the opposite to negative 5?
5.
5. Let's see. Hannah, what's the opposite to 4? Lila, what do you think?
Negative 4.
Negative 4. So because of that, Hannah, what's the opposite to 3?
Negative 3.
Negative 3. Exactly. And I want to see. Pearson, what's the opposite to negative 2?
2.
2. That's it. The opposites either have a negative or a positive. That's it. Just like distance, though, absolute values are always positive. I like this. I put this little thing there. I wrote, Rosie says, "Are you positive?" And Lucky goes, "Absolutely," because absolute values are always positive. Absolute values are written between 2 vertical parallel lines. Vertical means up and down, and parallel just means that they are on the same wavelength. I don't know how to explain it better. These are parallel, and then if we had it with like this, that would be perpendicular. Parallel, they never touch.
How can you do that?
Perpendicular, they touch like that. Parallel, perpendicular. Parallel, perpendicular. Here are the absolute values. The absolute value of positive 4 is 4. The absolute value of negative 4 is still 4. The absolute value of if we have the negative absolute value of 4, that's the only way we can get a negative. If it happens to be outside of the absolute value, anything inside of those lines is always positive. Think of these lines as super happy. You know, like you've seen that emoji like this, right? Think of those lines as super happy. Everything that comes out is positive. So the only way an answer can be negative is if the negative sign is outside. That's the only possible way. So in the chat, I want you guys to solve this. I'm actually going to call on you. Let me see. Dolan, what is the answer to the absolute value of negative 7? What's the answer, Dolan?
7.
Yeah, it's just 7. It comes out positive. The next one's a little bit trickier because we're adding. The next one's a little trickier. So, Romina, what's the absolute value of 5 equal to?
5.
Perfect. Sebastian, what's the absolute value of negative 6 equal to? Exactly, 6. So I added them together because that's what it is. And I get 11. What about this one? I want to know. Let's see. Marley, what's the absolute value again of negative 7?
7.
Perfect. Ruby, what is the absolute value of negative 3? No, she stepped away. Jackson, what's the absolute value of negative 3?
Absolute value of negative 3, I think it would be 2.
The absolute value of negative 3 is just 3. It comes out as just 3. And 7 minus 3 gives me 4. That's it. This one, same thing. Absolute value of 14. 14. Absolute value of negative 9 is 9. Absolute value of 3 is 3. Absolute value of negative 8 is 8. Absolute value of negative 2 is 2. So this one I would get 12, and this one I would get 6. Thumbs up if we're getting it. I want to see a thumbs up if we're getting it. We're going to take a vote. A seagull is flying 25 feet above sea level. Nevaeh is diving 15 feet below sea level. Then we're going to solve what is the distance between Nevaeh and the seagull. So for the first one, is our first answer 25 feet above sea level, positive or negative? So take your votes, you guys. Ella asked a great question. She's like, what are those lines, Ms. Diaz? The lines just mean absolute value. So if I had the absolute value of negative x, it comes out positive. So it'll just come out as x. She then said, what if it doesn't have the lines? So just negative x. Vahe, what is negative x equal to? So yes, it's just equal to negative x. Those lines tell us if it's going to be positive or negative. And only if there's a negative sign outside will our answer be negative. So with our vote, we got yes, this one is positive. What about the next one? 15 feet below sea level. Is that positive or is that negative? And what do you say?
15 below. It's negative. 'cause
Yes.
sea level.
It's
So it's
negative.
up.
But it's asking us for the distance. Pearson, do you remember what the rule about distance is? Distance is always?
Negative?
Distance is always positive. If I walk a mile, but I do it walking backwards, did I walk negative miles? If I walk a mile, but I walked it backwards, I go boop, 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 and I'm walking it backwards. No, I still walked a mile. So this is how we find the distance between the two. It's always positive. So I get the absolute value of 25. It's just 25. Absolute value of 15 is 15 because I need them to be positive. So I get my answer to be 40. They are 40 feet apart from one another. Why aren't they 10 feet apart from one another? I mean, this is a 25 and that's a negative 15. Who'd like to tell me why they're not like 10 feet away from each other? Why are they not 10 feet? Jackson, distance is always?
Positive.
Yes, thank you, Ella. But yes, distance is always positive. If I was to draw this, here's my water. Whoop, 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 whoop. Right down here, there is Nevaeh. Woo, she's swimming. And that is 25 feet to the surface. And then here is my seagull. And it is 15 feet above. So the distance between them is 40 feet. Go to the guided practice page 358. 358. So I asked this question before. Let's call back and see if he remembers. Lucas, what's the opposite of 0?
0.
0. Let me see. Abner, what's the opposite? Oh, this is a silly question. First of all, what's the opposite of 6, Abner?
Negative 6.
Perfect. So the opposite of 6 is negative 6. Kayla, though, this is a strange question. It's asking us the opposite of the opposite. So then what would the opposite of that be? Kayla, what's the opposite of negative 6?
6.
6. So the opposite of 6 is still 6. I want to know this. Vahe, what is the absolute value of negative 5 equal to? Exactly, it's 5. I want to know then, Dolan, what about this one? The absolute value of 20 minus the absolute value of negative 3. What is the answer, actually? What is the answer, Dolan?
Absolute value of 20 is 20. So 20 minus negative 3.
But is it minus negative 3? What's the absolute value of negative 3?
Negative 3.
The absolute value of negative 3 is positive 3. Remember, it always comes out positive.
Right.
So what's the answer then, Dolan? It's 17. Vahe, What's the absolute value of negative 16? He got booped. Kayla, what's the absolute value of negative 16?
16.
16. Lucas, what's the absolute value of negative 12?
12.
12. So Delaney, what would my answer be then in total?
It would be 28.
Perfect. 28. Absolute values always pop out positive. A game show contestant lost 15 points. He answered another question incorrectly and lost another 15 points. How many total points has he lost? How many total points has he lost then, Ruby? Perfect. He lost 30 points. Technically, if we saw it like this, it would be, it's not worth it showing it like that. But exactly. If we were doing the homework, it would be page 359, 1 through 16, which sounds like a lot, but it's actually pretty easy. So, excellent work, you guys.